and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Welcome to our regular scheduled meeting of April 19th. Let's see. Please note we're missing Ms. Scott. Otherwise, the rest of the council is present. We do have items from councils first on our agenda. And I believe, Mr. Garza, you have something to... I do. You want to do that first? Let's go ahead. Okay. Kind of caught you off guard there, I guess. But.
Never catch me off guard.
Oh.
No, I'm just kidding. Mayor and Council, tonight we have the annual privilege that we have to identify and recognize our distinguished citizens. Our distinguished citizens are a group of individuals very dedicated to the City of Victoria. They have completed all three of the city academies. That's the Civilian Police Academy, the Civilian Fire Academy, and of course the Citizens Academy. It takes a lot of dedication and a lot of time. All told, each of these citizens would have been meeting each week for 36 weeks, more than 100 hours of classroom sessions, live demonstrations, and hands-on exercises. And to show our appreciation for the type of people that are that interested in municipal government, we honor them with our 2016 Distinguished Citizens Awards, and we have 9 recipients this year. Before bringing them up, I would like to ask Fire Chief Tanner Drake to come up to represent the Civilian Fire Academy. I know Police Chief Jeff Craig is out of town, so John Ray, Assistant Chief of Police, is going to come represent the Police Department. And then Mayor, of course, will represent the Citizens Academy. And Jennifer, my assistant, is going to come up and assist the Mayor with the handing out of the Distinguished Citizens Awards. Our first recipient is Donna Bernard. Donna, come on up. You can go through the gauntlet. And I would ask that you please remain up front, and we're going to take a big group picture as soon as we're done. Kenneth Forster. I saw Kenneth back here. And again, these citizens have done all 3 of the academies that the city offers and end up being a great source of volunteerism and community involvement. Edwin Gregoric. He's one of our youngest members that's graduated. No, he is absolutely, I believe, our oldest citizen to have received our Distinguished Citizens Award. Diana Johnson. Sorry, Diana. And Kenneth Knief. Mark Lofgren. Gloria Seiler. Joyce Vivian, who has her own rooting section from her sons, I noticed. And Rhonda Williams. I'm pretty sure this is the largest class of distinguished citizens that we've had. Mayor and Chiefs, this is our Distinguished Citizens Award recipients for 2016. And if y'all would get real friendly, we will take a few quick pictures and proceed with the meeting.
You're surrounded.
You got to put yours down.
Again, thank you very much, all you awardees. It's a phenomenal effort you put in to learn about your municipal government. Thank you very much. Congratulations. Thank you for coming. Mark?
Well, before you all leave, I'll just say thank you again, and you probably don't fully appreciate how much we appreciate up here what y'all do and the time you spend. One of our biggest jobs is communicating with the public and hoping they understand how the city operates, and you are our ambassadors. You have taken so much time to learn all that, so help us out and go talk to your neighbors. So we appreciate it very much. Thank you. Well, council, we're still in items from council. If anyone has anything they need to bring up, now would be the time.
Okay. I'd like to pull D3. And
Okay.
also, I want to thank Jared and his staff for these beautiful maps. They're wonderful. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, so we're pulling D3. Anything else under items from council? Okay, seeing none, we'll move into citizens' communication. We do have one item there. We can go ahead and do that first. Mr. Cheney, would you like to come on up and explain your GRIP filing?
Briefly,
Thank you.
well, thank you for the opportunity. This is my first time before the mayor and council, so we appreciate.
Name and address for the
Meet you guys.
record, and
There you go.
if you can do it in under 5 minutes, that'd be great too. So.
Good deal. Well, GRIP, Gas Rehabilitation Infrastructure Program. You gotta love the state for naming these things. This is the 5th of 5. Y'all should be somewhat familiar with this. It kind of rolls around every year. Gives an opportunity for the gas company to recover capital costs through these interim rate increases. So with all that said, I'm here to answer any questions that you might have concerning what we've done or you know, the next step or.
Council?
Was that an item on the agenda for today?
No, but you can ask questions because it's
You bet.
listed.
So what type of rate increase are you proposing?
It's the bottom line on this, and this is it's $1.14. I should have went straight to that, apologize. Bottom line on it be $1.14 on our minimum bill, beginning May the 30th, unless council was to suspend it for 45 days. We call it our small commercial would be a $2.31 increase on our minimum bill, and the large commercial industrial would be a $13.50 commercial or increase for the large commercial. Going from $2.07 for the residential rate to $21.21 is what that's going to end up being, with the small commercial going from $32.44 to $34.75. And lastly, our industrial customers, which we have a few, will go from $174.75 to $188.25.
So with the low natural gas prices, what's the justification for the rate increase?
What it is it allows utilities, and the state passed this law years back, and to allow utilities to be able to recover their capital improvements to our systems without a full-blown rate case. Before, that was kind of, you know, if you spend the money, you got to come back and get the rate case the next year. It costs a lot of money. And what they were finding out, in which throughout the industry, throughout the state, that the infrastructure, just like anything else, something big happens, you lose money, you try to recover it, it's a big blow up and everything else. Required to first off start with a rate case, which is, some of you guys remember 2010 went and was implemented in 2011, which gave the state an opportunity to say, okay, we agree with the rates, and that was the last one we'd done. If you opt in, it's a process. The process is a 5-year process, and then everything's, this kind of comes in as a ministerial review, and then after the 5 years, it goes to the, we have to file another rate case to review all of these incrementals as they went through, which, after this one, which will go into effect May the 30th, we should be, the next time I'm before you guys, it'll be to provide you with the documentation of our next rate case.
So what specific capital improvements were done
We've done throughout the division with the South Texas Division, specifically to Victoria, we've replaced quite a bit of pipe. We've got what we call our Distribution Integrity Management Program, where it, identifies pipe based on the maintenance that we've done to it in the past, and, the age and the type of material and so forth. And in a nutshell, what we've done is taken that and in the past, just kind of like your utilities you have now, where you would normally patch it, where we're replacing it, okay, and bringing in new pipe. Well, we might find, like in the past, we might find a piece of pipe that we would replace a few feet. We might go all the way around the block and back that way. Excuse me. So with that said, we've got several projects engineered on the goal line for Victoria right now. We've got this downtown section is a low pressure area that we're going to replace in the next year or so to just bring it up. It's kind of a limited capacity. We don't have a whole lot of room to add customers here. We've got a piece of pipe going from Broadmoor Street, north of town, all the way up to North Side, all the way down to, I guess that would be Tuscany subdivision, tying back in there to improve our flow to get enough gas in where it's developing. Ball Airport Road, that's open. We've got a project to go and tie that in, which will take the volume, heading, I guess you call that west. And lastly, we've got an 8-inch pipe slated for replacement or upgrading about 3 miles from Salem Road, where it goes all the way up and makes the first turn. That's where our station is, comes back down to the back of the mall to greatly increase that volume as well. As well as, of course, piping the subdivisions. We got 3 or 4 new sections of Tuscany and the Klein subdivision, as well as Capstone. We just repiped it. So, I've told to keep this brief. Now it's your fault.
What about the old subdivisions in town? Because I just replaced all the pipe in my house, so are you going to be doing anything in the old subdivisions?
Well, there's a limit to what we can do, and we've got instruments together that and triggers that, prompt these, just flat out. We're not going wholesale on Victoria because there's, just literally 1,000 miles of pipe in this town, okay? We identify the pipe, and if it's a good solid system, you don't see us in your neighborhood fixing a lot of leaks. Depending on the age, depending on the material, depending on how it was constructed, whether it's with, all welded together, whether it's put together with the old compression style fittings or screw pipe, things that, after, 40, 50, 60 years, you might start getting some leaks on. That's the kinds of things that we look at when we do these replacements. And I don't know if y'all have noticed lately, we've brought in 4 extra crews in town for the last, since November, doing a lot of work. I know your utility departments probably hate our guts because every day we got about 10 locates to get done. So, and
Is that process going to take place over the 5 years until we get this other rate increase in 5 more years, or are you going to, because?
It's an ongoing process,
Okay.
actually, and like I said, it would be akin to like the city would have a major, when something, we try to anticipate and try to take care of these issues before they happen, okay? And we go back to what we spent last year, and of course, we're a regulated utility. We can only make, I think it's 8.25% profit. And so we take our spending, what we did on our capital improvement, compare it, and this is brings us up to our approved profit. And so it will be ongoing.
Most of it's, your infrastructure is not under the streets, right? I know that's a pretty open-ended question.
Most of, yeah, and it really is. Your older part of town, if you think about it, back when the streets were mostly culverts and ditches, okay, if back then you put curb and gutter in, we got a lot of stuff under the sidewalks, in your older part of the town. whenever you took and widened the street out from a 2-lane to a 4-lane and a turning lane, if they did not, back at that time, move it out, then it does. Now, as we replace it, absolutely, we do not want it under the streets because, and as you guys now are replacing your streets, we're getting it out from under them. And because it's bad for you and it's also bad for me.
Good. That's what I wanted to hear. Yeah. Okay. Great.
You good?
Thank you.
Council? Thank you very much.
You're quite welcome.
Okay, citizens' communication is still open. If anyone would like to come forward and talk about anything at all, and your name and address for the record, and try to, 5 minutes would be appreciated.
Well, I'm Bonnie Fortenberry. I live at 603 New Haven. I'm here again about the streets. You have since replaced or tried to replace Williamsburg, and it's worse than the Nantucket and Baltimore. Of course, Baltimore hasn't been replaced yet, but down on New Haven. If you try to walk on the street, there is chat and gravel all over it. If I'd have wanted to live in the country where my roads were rough, I'd have moved to the country. But I expected something different from the city. The roads are terrible. The bicycles can't ride on it. Two-wheel bikes of any sort cannot ride on it because you hit that loose gravel, of which I brought some for you. It's loose. It's all over the road. There's no way you can ride a two-wheel bike, or very gingerly you can ride it. The motorcycle, we don't ride on gravel roads by choice because it's not safe. You hit a piece of that rough gravel going around the road, and what rolls? It does, and everything else. I'd really like someone, Mr. Alapaska, my council member, Mr. Bachknight, to ride down Williamsburg, I believe it is now. Yes, they've replaced it. It's so rough, and with the rain that just hit, we're going to have the same problems we had throughout the last 22 years that I've lived there. We're original owners there. I don't know what you're going to do about it, but it's not acceptable. You know, I don't know. You know, I really and truly don't know what you'll do about it. I thought we were getting a nice street when they said we were going to get taken care of after Castle Hills, and I drove through that not too long ago, and it is a nice street. But obviously we didn't get that. And the road is just terrible through there. I mean, yes, 4 wheels, it's no problem. Other than it's the chats coming up and banging on your new car. That's not real good either. But I would appreciate someone giving me a call from the city just to tell me that they've either come down through there or at least come by my house and say, hey, can you ride with me, or where are you talking about? But it shouldn't take a rocket scientist to figure out where I'm talking about, because it's really in bad shape. It's better than what it was, but it's not good. And we're going to have more problems with all the rain. Thank you.
Thank you. Citizens' communication is still open. If anyone would like to come forward, seeing no one, we'll go ahead and close citizen communication and move into ordinances.
Item C1 is an ordinance providing for the extension of certain boundary limits of the city of Victoria, Texas, and the annexation of certain territory consisting of approximately 5.7 acres of land at the request of DGMP Incorporated, adopting a service plan for the territory to be annexed, repealing all conflicting ordinances, providing for publication and savings, and declaring an effective date.
So move.
Second.
Motion and a second. Is there any questions on this one? Let's see, do we have a public hearing?
Nope.
Okay. Seeing no questions, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Okay. C1 passes, and C2 has a public hearing, right?
Yes,
Okay.
it does. Item C2 is an ordinance calling for a special election on Saturday, July 23rd, 2016, for City Council District 1, establishing procedures for holding the election, designating the precincts and polling places for the election, appointing certain officers to conduct the election, providing for severability, and declaring an emergency and providing for an effective date. Mayor and council, remember that because this is an emergency ordinance, it does need to be approved by affirmative vote of 5 members.
Let's open the public hearing on C2 first. If anyone would like to speak to that item only, now would be the time. Seeing no one jump up, we'll close the public hearing on C2. Council, entertain a motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any questions or discussions? We
Need to
did
point out,
the new language.
Mr. Goosh, yeah, had,
Yes, sir.
made that correction on the background information on the,
Yes, sir. In the background information, it says that the first day to file is tomorrow, April 20th, but it refers to tomorrow as Saturday. It should be Wednesday.
Yeah.
So in order to clarify that, we made a correction here. It's Wednesday, April 20th is the first day to file.
It's just that one word. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Any questions, council? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, same sign? Okay, item passes.
Item C3 is an ordinance amending Chapter 5 of the Victoria City Code relating to flood damage prevention regulations to add Division 3, Flood Damage Prevention Supplement, Sections 5-50 through 5-52, repealing all conflicting ordinances, providing for codification and savings, and declaring an effective date.
See, we have,
motion to approve item C3.
Second.
we'll go ahead and, we have public hearing on this one as well. Let's open the public hearing on C3. If anyone would like to speak to this item only, now's the time. Seeing no one, we'll close the public hearing on C3. We do have a motion and second. Council, we had a presentation on this. It's been a while, but y'all all understand what's happening here.
We're just going to adopt the map that we have, that he presented, the last one that added a little bit more into the flood. Okay,
Basically, just in the city.
right.
Yeah.
right.
But that's the one that's, he presented 2 maps.
Well, and Julie's getting up to,
Right, one, they're waiting for final approval, but we were gonna go ahead and adopt that,
This
that one.
adopts the preliminary maps, but also allows for the variance process.
Okay.
just in the city limits.
Right,
Yeah.
but there's some,
There's still some issues
by
out
the
toward the
county.
port, yeah, and
Okay,
that's what
but-
the holdup has been for the entire county, so.
Right.
That could go on for years,
Yes.
Yeah.
years and years, so,
Yeah, literally years.
yeah, okay. We'll move on. Okay, good.
thank you.
All right, we have a motion and a second, right? Yes. No further discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Okay. We'll do the consent agenda items except for D3.
That is item D1, or the approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of April 5th, 2016. D2, which is a resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into an interlocal agreement with the County of Victoria to install fiber optic cable within the city-approved right-of-way along Mockingbird Drive at no cost to the city for the purpose of providing effective utility communications and declaring an effective date. And item D4, which is a resolution designating the city manager as the authorized official to extend the fiscal year 2016 automobile burglary and theft prevention authority grant into fiscal year 2017, which requires a city participation of $45,972, designating Detective Jeff Parsons as the program director for the grant, designating Director of Finance Gilbert P. Reyna, Jr. CPA, as the financial officer for the grant, and declaring an effective date.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda items as presented.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Okay, they pass. D3.
D3 is a resolution approving the renewal of the annual supply contract with Boundtree Medical LLC for the purchase of emergency medical supplies in an estimated amount of $130,000, authorizing the city manager to execute all documents necessary to complete the renewal and declaring an effective date.
Make a motion, we approve item D3.
Second.
Okay. Ms. Solis, do you have questions?
Yes, I noticed that on the Bond Tree Medical list, they have some increases in there.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, the amount of money that we have projected for that, or, is an estimate of $130,000. With those increases, when they take place, will we have enough with those 130, or are we gonna have to do a budget amendment, or do you just have a set amount, and then you're gonna purchase up to that amount?
Yes, ma'am, we have a set amount. We'll purchase up to that amount. And
Okay.
fortunately, those increases are on items that we don't necessarily
Oh, good.
purchase a lot of, medications being.
Yeah, because I noticed the list was long, and I said, well, I don't know, we use
Right.
all of those items, or they're just telling you that they're gonna increase those particular items?
Just those particular items, and
Okay.
it'll be up to $130,000 or what is in our budget.
Okay. And then, who is this, because I think on one of the lines, it says, to the extent the pricing is not acceptable, somebody's gonna review it. So who would review it?
Yes, ma'am. Like this year, we send it to our purchasing department, and they review those costs, and they help us make that determination if we need to rebid or accept a contract.
Okay. Okay, that's fine. That's my questions.
Okay, thank you. Any further questions? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Okay, item passes. And we have one resolution.
This is a resolution awarding the 2015-16 Seal Coat Project, Mayfair Terrace and Mayfair Subdivision, to Brannan Paving Company Limited for their lowest qualified bid of $998,391, authorizing the city manager to execute all documents necessary to complete the project and declaring an effective date.
So move.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. I have a question, but council, anybody else want to go?
I have a question, too.
Go ahead.
What is the start date, approximate start date for this project?
I've talked to the contractor, and their expected start date is mid to late summer. The availability of the rock is becoming an issue, so they've informed me that they're looking at mid to late summer.
This is a chip seal,
Yes, sir.
the sealing job,
Yes.
and they do 2 sweeps. They sweep it twice after, right?
Yes, we have it in the bid to vacuum sweep the street twice after it's been seal coated. Once after they've completed it, and then about 3 weeks later to
Now-
vacuum broom it again.
I'm sorry, I interrupted you. You said once when they complete it, and then again when?
In about 3 weeks.
3 weeks? When they sweep it, do they do the entire surface area, or just what falls off to the
They
curb?
typically sweep the entire surface area, and the vacuum broom is a lot better than a rotary broom. It sweeps up the rock instead of pushing it up against the yards or curbs.
Is
So
that
that's why
something different, vacuum?
It's what we've gone to in the past, and we found it works the best, so we specified vacuum broom in the seal coats. It just keeps the rock from scattering in places. It vacuums it up.
Yeah. So that 3 weeks, I mean, that's necessary to, I would imagine traffic would cause it to stick better. You need to leave the excess aggregate. There's a reason you do that for a
Yes.
while, yeah.
We want, a seal coat's best if the loose aggregate is picked up. And we want to get all the loose aggregate picked up. It's better, of course, for the citizens, but it's also better for the roadway itself to
Okay.
just get that loose rock up.
And I'm asking, I know our previous speaker, Ms. Fortenberry, I think that's some issues over in that area. I haven't been over there to Williamsburg, but I know from other roads, I've seen that the aggregate does build up, and after that second sweep, at times, there's still a lot of it left. A lot of citizens will take it upon themselves to pick it up. I do. Sometimes they can't. Y'all inspect that after the sweepings?
Yes,
Do we go out?
we do. We periodically check it even after, as they finish and complete the job, we'll keep checking it as the year progresses for the
Yeah.
warranty period.
Okay. Okay. All right, that's my questions. So,
I have one question, since you
Yes,
said warranty period. So whose responsibility is it to go then and pick up that aggregate?
Like I said, in the bid, we have 2 sweepings. If there's excessive, we call it shelling. If it's excessive, we'll get back with the contractor. And again, it goes back to a workmanship and material issue. If it's something faulty with the workmanship or material, then it would be their responsibility.
Okay, and that warranty is good for what, 1 year?
1 year.
Okay.
okay. Okay, that's all I have. I might talk to you later about it. Did you, Judd?
I'll talk to you
Okay.
later about it.
Okay. All right. Looking forward to this getting done. I know it's a big neighborhood,
Yes, it is.
so, all right. Any further questions? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Passes. Think you. What's left?
That's it.
That's it? 30 minutes. Okay.
Awesome.
Thank you, council. We are adjourned.
Right, 4 hours.
Yes, I know it.